Hello, my name is Dr Bobby Sura, consultant clinical psychologist and systemic psychotherapist here at Solihull Wellbeing Clinic. I wanted to talk today about a model that has been with us for many decades. It's a model that's used in grief and bereavement, and it was devised by a lady called Elizabeth Kübler-Ross. It's very well known, very popular. As I say, it's used to support people who are experiencing the loss of a loved one, a friend. But actually in my clinical practice, what I found is that any kind of loss, it might be the loss of a relationship through separation or divorce, a breakup of a romantic relationship. It might be estrangement from our children or our parents. It may even be the loss of health when we receive some difficult news that we have some sort of diagnosis, some sort of terminal illness, and it really feels like a loss of our future, a loss of our well-being and our health. In all of those ways, whenever we stand to lose something that's very important to us, this model can apply. Now, the 5 stages that I'm sure you are interested to hear about or be reminded of if you've come across them before are essentially denial. That's where we begin. It's when we experience the news and the shock of that news. It seems to numb us, seems to paralyze us, seems to cause us to want to deny and reject that it can be true. It's not happening. It's our way of trying to cope with something. And then after denial, there can be a period of anger. An anger where we are really not at ease with what's happening. It's not what we want. We really want to reject it and protest against it. Whatever that situation might be, we just want it out of our lives and we're angry that it's happened. And that can be a phase that we struggle with. After that, there can be a period of bargaining, a period of trying to negotiate, to try and find a way through, to blur the black and the white, the polarities of this situation so it doesn't feel so absolute, that perhaps we can find a way through. Perhaps there is some compromise, some sort of bargaining, some sort of bargain that can be struck. With our health, we might bargain with the doctor. We may even pray to a God that we believe in, to say that perhaps I can be better, perhaps if I pray harder, if I go on a pilgrimage, that you will spare my life, you will bring me back to health. It might be that we bargain and negotiate with a life partner, and we're trying to reignite the relationship or give the relationship another chance. Whatever shape or form it takes, we're trying to mitigate the pain and the loss. We're trying to regain some sense of control and to retrieve what we most value. But when that doesn't work, and when no matter how hard we try, we cannot find a way through, we cannot find a less difficult compromise, then often there can be a sense of depression, dejection. The energy levels dissipate. Our motivation, our mood drops. It's as though we are now really starting to enter a period of grief, a period of really missing and starting to realize the extent of what we stand to lose. But then there is a 5th stage that Kübler-Ross talks about, and that stage is the stage of acceptance. It's when we start to come to terms as best we can with what is happening, and we start to rebuild and reorganize our life around the situation. For some people who are experiencing a terminal diagnosis, it might be a realization that they need to use the time that they have left, that they need to make amends or organize their finances or talk to family members that they may have become estranged from, to try to iron out some of the wrinkles in their life, and also to try to squeeze out some of the the joy and the possibility in the years that are left, or the months, sometimes the weeks that lie before us. In a relationship situation, it may be that we are willing to part in amicable ways, or we begin to reinvest in ourselves so that maybe we can meet somebody as a better version of who we are, attract something into our life that will fill that void in time. It's very important, psychologically speaking, to explain and to identify that these are not linear phases. It's not like we go from one phase to the next in a linear sequential pattern. Actually, we can move between these phases, take 2 steps forward, take 1 step back, jump a phase and come back to another. It's different for different people. But the idea is that we have these dimensions of our psychological well-being, our reaction to what's happening. We need to negotiate these sorts of phases, these 5 broad phases in our lives. When I use this in my work, as I did very recently, with somebody who, after several decades, is suffering the second separation and divorce in their life, we really used this model as a way to help this person who was so dejected and down that perhaps was beginning to feel even suicidal, feeling that there was no hope. To look at this and consider that there is a phase of acceptance, of reorganizing, which may feel a million miles away. It may feel that it's unattainable, that it's a long way off, that we will not survive. But actually that phase is there. It is possible. It can be reached. But you know, sometimes we have to go through the difficult terrain. Sometimes we have to feel what needs to be felt. Sometimes we need to really challenge ourselves and struggle. But it's through that struggle, through that feeling, that we eventually can arrive at acceptance. There isn't always a shortcut. And I hope that if you're listening to this and this video applies to you or a loved one, that you can bring your support network around you, that you can gather the resources that you have within you, and if necessary, talk to somebody, a therapist, a psychologist, a counsellor, consult the books that you've read that have inspired you and helped you along the way in your life. If you're a person of faith, to lean into that faith and to find that way through. I hope this short video has been helpful, and I wish you well for the future. Thank you.